Welcome to this version. This is September of the Cannon County Chamber Connection, and we're glad you could be with us today. And of course, this show is always made possible by DTC Communications, and we're always happy to be a part of them because they're a good partner for the Chamber, and we do appreciate it. September is always the start of the fall activities in Cannon County, and right now I'm going to tell you about some of the things you missed, because the 1st of September there's a lot that goes on. The Short Mountain Distillery had their Greenway Music Festival, and they had a big crowd up there, and I haven't heard any bad reports, so that makes me think everything went well. They put a lot of work into that. And then the Cannon County Walking Horse Association has their annual Labor Day horse ride. They go up on the mountain to their campgrounds, and they camp for the weekend. And the last report I had on that is fun was had by all, so that's a good thing. And then the thing that'll be coming up this weekend will be the White Oak Craft Festival, and that's at the Art Center in Cannon County, and that draws people from everywhere. So that's what you missed. You should have been here for those. Well, you still have time if this gets on the air by this weekend. If not, you should have been at the Art Center Craft Fair. I do have guests today. I have Mr. Michael Ward, and he is with, and I'm assuming you're Amanda Price, right?
Amanda Myers.
Myers, okay. Yeah. I came close. Anyway, they are with our Woodbury Health and Rehab Center here in Woodbury. They're also a member of the Chamber, and they do a great service to our community. And Michael, tell us a little bit about the Rehab Center.
Yes, we are an 82-bed licensed skilled and long-term care facility. And we have 12 private rooms, and of course 70 semi-privates on top of that. Again, we offer long-term, short-term stay, and we accept numerous amounts of insurances, of course private pay. And right now we're still trying to get a contract with the VA, for the Veterans Administration.
Well, that would be, that would be good. How come I'm assuming they already had theirs?
I don't know if they did it in the past, but we're working on that.
No, I mean, I thought VA had their own.
Oh, they do, but also at the same time, they get overcrowded. You know,
Right.
They have waiting lists. And also, there's veterans, they want to keep people in the communities
They
where
do.
they're from. Yeah, because some people don't have the families. They get sent there to other facilities, but it's always good to keep them local with their families.
Well, and it's easier for the families to go see them and be
Yes.
close by too.
Yeah, that support.
So, yep.
And we see that here in the community. It's the families that come in now that the COVID restrictions, have been lifted. We love to see the families come in and interact with our staff, and of course, with their loved ones. But it's a great feel, and it really helps. It helps the staff and helps the patients.
It's always kind of like, I've always said, I appreciate the small town atmosphere. I like going in a bank where they know my name.
Yes.
I like going in a business where they know my name.
Yes.
And I feel the same about them. I like to walk in and say, well, hello, so-and-so, and
And
everything.
back.
So this is good.
Yeah.
This is a good thing. Well, like I say, I have firsthand experience with the nursing home part of it, the long care, because my mother was in there before she passed away, and they did a great job with my mother. She was a little difficult at times, and they did a great job with her.
Yeah. It's a passion that our staff has. Not just anyone can do this kind of work. It's like, we can look back and say, well, I don't see how you do what you do, but because people have different passions, and I feel like we're placed there, especially in this type of environment. It takes special people.
You got Miss Helen still working there?
Oh yes, of course, yes. great person.
Oh, she is.
Yes.
She is. And I know Betty was a nurse at that time. And she is she retired, didn't
Yes, she did.
Yeah. But anyway, your staff is an important part of that.
Yes.
Whether it be in rehab. Now, on your rehab, that is, if you had some kind of surgery in the hospital and you needed to have rehab afterwards, they would be sent there, right?
Yes, we get what they call referrals. They sent from hospitals or maybe even from the doctor write an order from home, but we get a referral on those patients. And we make sure that they're appropriate for our facility. And yes, we always welcome all the referrals. We get them from Vanderbilt to, local to, we had a resident come from Texas because a family member was here.
Right.
Drove them there, and it's different states. Yeah.
Well, that goes back to if you have your surgery at Vanderbilt or somewhere, it's easier for you to take your rehabilitation if you live in Woodbury, or even if you lived in Murfreesboro or McMinnville.
It's local.
Yeah.
And also too, if one of the residents needs dialysis or some other type of care like that, that's several times a week, this is locale enough to be sent to, McMinnville, back to Murfreesboro, somewhere like that, and still stay with the family.
Right.
That's important, like you were saying. It's important to be around family.
It is. It is. Amanda, we haven't talked to you. What do you do?
I'm the director of nursing.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
We was just talking about you. How many nurses do you have?
We currently have 15 full-time nurses. We're needing a few nurses still, but after COVID, trying to recover from that, we're getting there.
Hey, this has been difficult.
Yeah.
I know this has been difficult for you.
Yeah.
And it's difficult when you talk about how important the patient and their relatives are. There was a time when they couldn't come in.
Yeah.
And that was hard on everybody.
Very.
Because I know some of the people that come in to visit, if they're family, usually they'll try to see to some of the things that the patient needs that maybe can relieve your staff a little bit.
Yeah. We did lots of window visits and through plexiglass when we had to, and tried to at least get where they could lay eyes on
Or
each
they
other.
could see them,
Yeah. Yeah.
What are some of the concerns that the nurses may still have now as a result of COVID that they might be going through now? I know, one of the things was we don't want to get COVID. So, of course, you protected yourself as best you could. But what are some of the things that are still concerning going on right now that could have been attributed to COVID?
Really, everybody's gone back to normal for the most part, other than the staffing issues that we're still having. Needing that extra help. We're using agency right now, and we were talking about families and staff knowing each other and being familiar. That's a hurdle with using the agency coming in. But yeah, for the most part, the nurses and CNAs, well, really everybody they've handled it well, and they've come back and business as normal for the most part.
I know one of the big things that was at the Woodbury on the nursing home side was a hairdresser, and you guys
Yes.
lost one. Did you find one?
We did, yes.
Okay. Good deal.
Miss Pam, she's back.
Okay.
And residents love her. My mother's even there at the facility, and gets her hair done weekly, and that's important.
It is
It's those
important.
little things that it's important to them, and so it's big things for us.
Yeah.
That was like all the activities that you had. That's important for them.
Yes.
To go to those. You had bingo, and of course, the first time my mother went, I had to go with her. I didn't know what to expect there, but I remember they had called out 2 numbers, and everybody hollered bingo.
Yeah. Bingo is a staple. Everybody loves it. Yeah.
Yes.
But you also had Santa there.
Yeah.
You had churches that come in, different churches on Sunday
Yeah.
that came in and held services. So, yeah, it was a good place.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to be open for Halloween this year for the kids to come through?
We hope to. There's still regulations in place that
Right.
if we're having an outbreak, COVID or, things like that, we can't. But as long as we're
That's
COVID
one
free.
question I get asked quite a bit because I came up a couple of years ago. I'm with the paper, the Cannon Courier.
I'm sorry, I just think everybody knows
She didn't
each
have it
other.
on her script as to who I was, so she didn't introduce me. But that's one of the things that the kids really enjoyed and that,
Yes.
that the residents enjoyed.
Yes, they both do, and the residents need that. It just depends on the county rates
Right.
that we're regulated by, and we're hoping that they're trending down. There's some counties in Tennessee that have trended down, so we're hoping that we're on that down swing also. And we still have a few weeks to go, several weeks to go, so yeah, we're optimistic about it.
Yeah.
Tell me some of your needs. I'm with the Lions Club also, and I know there have been times that we took up items for the nursing home patients, like Kleenex and some personal items, hand lotion and everything. Are there some needs that you have that the community could be involved in? Maybe they're extra needs that not necessarily
Yeah.
a staple, but something we could do for them.
The two items that you mentioned, of course, the company provides everything for the
Right.
residents, but they love that outside, their personal lotions, their
They like
personal
a present.
Kleenexes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
things like that. It's they love those items, and little flowery items. They love flowers. Trying to think of. Tammy does such a great job with
She
the
does.
activities and gets those things together. But mainly like the lotions, especially the non-hypoallergenic and the Kleenexes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know that we always try to do something for the nursing home, and I think that's great. I think the community should be involved, whether you have somebody there or not,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's, listen, every town needs one. Every
Yes.
county needs one.
Yes, and it's not so much the items. The residents love the items, and but it's that community feel that comes in. The support. That's what helps us the most, because we are there 8, 9, 10 hours a day at times, and our staff is in other words 24/7 with them. But the outside visitation is important.
It is.
They may bring a bag of no-hull popcorn or something, and someone will say, well, that's just popcorn. No, it's huge, because it's that visitation, that fellowship with the residents that you have. They look forward to that.
They do.
We can only give them so much of that. Be there with them 24/7, but the outside community, family and friends that they know and that visit them, their eyes light up, and
Right.
it helps with their quality of life.
It does.
Yeah.
And especially a lot of them are in a situation where they can't go out.
Yes.
I do remember this one time they had a yard sale, the nursing home did, out in the front, and they let some of the patients go out there. And I went to visit my mother, and there were all these lids to pots everywhere in her room, on her table and everything. And I thought, good heavens, Mom, you've gone in the kitchen and got all these. But it wasn't that. The nurse come in, and I said, I think these may belong to y'all. And she goes, no, we took your mother out there, and you just can't have enough lids. And I says, no, you can't.
Yep.
Like socks, they disappear.
So yes. Well, anyway, it took me a couple of days to get them back out there. Because I couldn't take them all at one time.
Yeah.
Anyway, but things like that are so neat that they took the time to do that.
Yes. We have special people there.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned a while ago, are you needing help?
Yes. We're a housekeeper, and of course Amanda in nursing needs several nurses and CNAs. So if you're out there and you're local, see Amanda. Call the facility and speak to Amanda.
So there are jobs out there if you're looking for something. And that job right there, if you're cut out for that, that's a very rewarding job. It is.
Now, you guys have partnered up with the high school, haven't you, for some of the...
Yes.
To train?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Talk about
great.
that a little bit.
Their CNA program at the high school, they're going to do clinicals with us and
Right.
bring them in and let them shadow our CNAs and get their training there. And yeah.
Yeah, I know that's one thing they just started here recently, and they're really
Well, I
excited
think
about
that's
that.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And we've recently did job wage analysis, and our wages were increased to kind of meet more of the surrounding counties, and so it's very comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to do a job wage analysis at the paper. Oh, the camera's on. Never mind.
You're busted.
Yeah.
Keith works for the Courier. He's also president of the chamber. So. And I'm sorry I didn't introduce you.
That's okay.
I just figured everybody knew you, Keith.
Yeah, they probably do, so it's all right.
Well, is there anything else you want to share with us while we're here?
Well, again, I would just like to say thank you to the community and the chamber, putting us all together. A lot of people think there's different sides, different teams. We're all one team.
We are.
It takes all of us to make this happen.
It
We
does.
do appreciate the community coming in and visiting, and sometimes they don't visit their own relatives, they just come in to visit.
I have known people that do that.
And we just think that's it's huge to the facility and the community. Woodbury is tight-knit, and it's a loving community. So, there's no reason we can't blossom as a big team.
They are very giving. And any clubs and organizations out there, even school organizations, if you're looking, I know there's different organizations where you get points for certain things. Keep the nursing home in mind, because that's an area where you could go up there and make a big difference for a very little involvement, really. The same way with the Lions Club. We always try to do something that includes the nursing home too.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate that. Residents appreciate it. That's who really counts.
I remember taking my grandson at that time was like 3 or 4 years old, and I would take him with me when I'd go in to see my mother. He told me one day, he goes, "I think you better let me walk in front." And I says, "Why?" And he says, "Because they grab me when I go by."
Want to hold hands or something, yeah.
Yeah, he just, come here and talk to me.
Yes, they love that.
But he didn't mind it. He just took, and I think that's great. I think letting your kids go in, that's a good thing,
Yes.
because that's part of life, and we may all get there one day.
Yeah, it's aging process, and the young need to see it, and also it helps. I'm not going to say heal the elderly, but it sure helps.
It does. You could tell. You could. Because if I went up there without him, some of them would ask me that I didn't even know, and where's that baby? And I thought, well, he's not really a baby, but I'll bring him next time.
Yeah.
So, well, I think it's great, and I think we're very fortunate to have an establishment like yours in Cannon County. And I have firsthand knowledge of that. I've also had some family members that have used the rehab for various reasons. And so, yeah, I'm proud to have y'all here.
Thank you.
We're glad to be here. Thank you, and the facility and all.
All right. Well, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the show. We're going to talk to Jimmy over here. Or if you have to go, that would be fine too. It's whichever you wish to do.
Okay.
You don't have nothing to do. You can stick around.
We'll stick around.
All right. Jimmy may tell you something you didn't know here. Hi, Jimmy. You've been sitting over here very quiet and very patient. And this gentleman's name is Jimmy Simpson. and he is a business employment consultant, vocational rehabilitation for the Tennessee Department of Human Services. Did I get it all in there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
What exactly do you do, Jimmy?
In a nutshell, I work with individuals that have disabilities and help them connect with employment that they want and that will help fulfill their life, make them feel part of the community and productive. Voc Rehab, there are 4, I describe them as spokes to vocational rehab. I'm just one of them. You also have our vocational rehabilitation counselors. They work with disabled individuals, getting them training, education, any other barriers that they might have, identification, just as simple as getting an ID, things like that, to help them become job ready. We also have another training piece, which is the Community Tennessee Rehabilitation Centers. The closest one, well, the one that I'm out of is up in Cookville on 20th Street, and there are just a plethora of training opportunities, personalized assistance. I know Anthony Wessner, the training coordinator up there, is working with individuals on everything from interviewing to teaching them how to read. It's amazing, the programs that Anthony and Carol have, and that's across the state. This isn't just Upper Cumberland. There are, I believe, 9 regions across the state. The Upper Cumberland consists of 14 counties that I take care of as the business employment consultant. Then the 4th spoke is the pre-employment transition services. That reaches the younger folks, as young as 14 years old. They really focus on juniors and seniors in high school, working on vocational training, just anything and everything you could think that individuals with disabilities might need in order to just live a perfectly normal life.
What type of disabilities are we talking about? Is it caused from accidents, birth, or strokes? What type of disabilities are we dealing with?
Anything and everything that would impact an individual's functional areas of life. When I describe it, and everything from dyslexia, learning disabilities, things like that, all the way up to quadriplegia, total blindness. I mean, it's a very wide gamut. And in fact, I tell folks, if you think you could use the services, do a self-referral. We take referrals from numerous different agencies. Of course, Department of Human Services will plug them in and refer them over to Voc Rehab. Then we also have partnerships with the American Job Center. We are actually one of the on-site partners at the American Job Center. So the different folks there will refer individuals over, or folks can just call and say, hey, I think I might be able to use this, and one of the counselors will work with them to determine if they're eligible, and if they are, then they'll start getting services, getting that assistance. Eventually, they'll be job ready, and they'll get to work with me. And I do everything that I possibly can to help them find employment.
What type of, outside of like the physical disabilities, what kind of companies can you place somebody with physical disabilities with?
I can place them anywhere. As long as the individual wants to do the job and an employer is willing to work with that individual. You know, a prime example, I'm working with a gentleman right now that has cerebral palsy. He wants to work in a restaurant. And, you know, I was telling him, you know, you're going to be on your feet, this, that, and the other. And we got to talking about him bussing tables. And, you know, that might be a barrier.
Right.
You know, carrying a bus tote full of dishes. Just something as simple as let him put it on a cart and push it around. You know, reasonable accommodations. We work with employers to help brainstorm reasonable accommodations. We can provide those accommodations or assistance in the financing of those accommodations, assistive technology. I work with an individual that is blind, and he's a dispatcher for a 911 office. He has screen readers that read everything to him. Everything is in the same place. Every time he comes in, he can do that. I've worked with a lady that at one point was making pizzas at Domino's. Again, blind. She memorized where everything was on that line and could put a pizza together with absolutely no problem. There's not a job that we aren't willing to work with an individual to get them in that place if that's what they want. So there's really no out of reach or out of touch position.
And that's good, because I know years ago I was in the employment industry as a recruiter and stuff, and trying to go with people with disabilities and talk to particular employment, companies. It was kind of difficult, Now that your services are out there, it makes it a lot easier. And I think there was, at one time in Cookeville, there was somebody that dealt with handicapped individuals and tried to get them placed into jobs too. And I can't remember the name. I'm sure they're still there, but
it was probably Woodbury.
It could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been.
We've been around forever and a day.
But technology, it makes a pretty big difference, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. And it's very easy to look at an individual and immediately start going through a checklist of, well, they can't. I also do training for employers on disability etiquette, on how to look beyond the disabilities to the abilities that the individual has. That's a program called Windmills, and Richard, I can't remember Richard's last name right now. He's a Vietnam veteran, was involved in an explosion in Vietnam, came back completely deaf, and he was one of the pioneers on the Americans with Disabilities Act. And he talks about in one of the videos the fact that, he felt like his disability was going to impede him in the workforce. He was very effective at reading lips, but he got promoted, and the phone system that he had wasn't going to work for him. And finally, he goes to his employer, to his boss, and says, I may need a new phone system. Well, Richard, why would you? Well, I'm deaf. And, the employer was like, how long have you been working without this and still making the job? And, how much is it going to cost? $50. Why do you not have this then? Why have you waited so long? And that's where we come in, working with employers, working with job seekers, helping them come together and find a way for a person to do what they want to do, to work where they want to work. One of the individuals, I was at a job fair in Crossville, and the gentleman walked up to me and said, I want to thank you all for what you do. I'm like, well, hey, we appreciate that. He says, no, you don't understand. 25 years ago, Vocational Rehabilitation sent him to Tennessee College of Applied Technology to learn industrial maintenance because he was dyslexic. 25 years later, he is the maintenance supervisor for a major resort outside of Crossville, Tennessee, and is doing what he loves to do. So that's what we're about, is as much as possible tearing down the boundaries and the barriers and opening doors for individuals to do what they want to do and what they love to do. You know, like you had mentioned, you have to have a passion for what you do. And these folks, they have that passion. They know what they want, and they just need somebody to look beyond the typical disability and to see the abilities that they have.
Right.
So,
Do you have services for someone with selective hearing?
with selective hearing,
I think my husband has that.
I selectively hear when I turn my hearing aids off. So, you know, there's not a...
I think my husband has that. I just wonder.
Is he drawing disability off of it? Okay.
Some
Oh,
frying
that's good.
pan consultation.
Frying pan. Terry, watch
You think I
out.
can jolt him back into it? No, I think he does. He does have a hearing problem, but he hears what he wants to hear. Well, I think this is amazing, really, because you're right. People with disabilities have a lot of talents that you're not aware of because you see the disability and not the talent.
Another prime example, Dr. Temple Grandin. She is autistic, and she has completely revolutionized the way that the American livestock industry handles the animals that they work with. She designs the facilities for farmers and for processors and everything, and you know, is autistic, and the way that she sees things is what has really benefited her. You know, where we may see something, you know, visually, she sees it in numbers and is able to put all of that together. Each and every one of us have our gifts, and it's really just getting someone to let us step out and use those gifts.
Right.
So.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's good. And I think y'all could possibly
We've
be
already
of service.
talked. Yeah. I do have one thing I would like to share.
Well, that's fine.
October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And across the state, all of the business employment consultants, we do major events during October. In the Upper Cumberland, what we have planned right now, myself partnering with Anthony Wessner over at the Community Tennessee Rehabilitation Center in Cookeville, we have a 2-day event. October 4th, from 9 to 1, is going to be customer preparation, job seeker preparation. Anthony has employers coming in to talk about interviewing and presenting yourself at a job fair and how to make the most out of those opportunities. There will be the American Job Center. There will be representatives from there working with individuals on revising and brushing up their resumes. All kinds of stuff will be going on October 4th with the intention of preparing folks for October 5th. October 5th is going to be an employer-centric event. We're going to have breakfast at 8:30. At 9 o'clock, we're going to have an hour presentation. I mentioned those 4 spokes. Each of those 4 areas are going to talk about how they fit within Voc Rehab, how that benefits the customers that we serve, along with the employers that we're trying to connect them with, because what we do is all about employment. It's all about connecting people with employment. So we'll have that from around 9 to 10, and there will be a short tour of the Community Tennessee Rehabilitation Center in Cookeville. You can see what they've got going on, what their plans are for later on, and how employers can fit in that and be part of that. And then from 11 to 1, we're having a hiring event. The employers that are there will get a table, a place to set up, and then those customers that were part of October 4th, or anyone, I mean, we are making it a disability-centric event, but it's open to anybody that walks in. We're not going to turn somebody away that's looking for work. But we are doing this intentionally for our voc rehab customers. So that's going to be an opportunity, and if an employer wanted to be part of that, they could feel free to get in touch with me. I'm sure you've got my contact information. Or just for a shameless plug, they can call me at 931-316-9003. That's my cell phone number. I'll be more than happy to hold them a spot. And if an individual is interested in getting services from vocational rehabilitation, interested in doing a self-referral, they can call the Rehabilitation Center, and that phone number is 931-520-2517. It's that simple. And then that individual, they'll get some information from them, hand them off to one of the counselors, and they'll go through the process. And hopefully they'll meet the eligibility requirements, which really it's just having a documented disability that impacts one or more functional areas of life. And we'd love to help everybody and anybody that we possibly can.
Where is this center located? What's the address?
Cookeville, Tennessee, but we serve all 14 counties of the Upper Cumberland. My area goes from Cannon County in the far southwest, Macon County in the far northwest, all the way over to Fentress, Pickett County, and then down to Van Buren. So that big swath is where we serve.
So if someone wanted to come to this particular event, what, do you have a street address where the building's located?
Yeah, and I'd be happy to provide that information, but it's 955 East 20th Street in Cookeville, Tennessee.
So you're right in town.
And I would...
I've got that information.
I'd give them, when somebody calls to reserve a spot, I'd give them all of that information.
Okay.
So.
Well, all right, Jimmy, you had a lot to tell us, didn't you? I appreciate all of you coming. Right now, I'm going to talk about some events. Keith, do you have anything that's going?
Am I DJing on the 24th? Do you need a DJ for the 24th?
Well, I do. You better be there, buddy. I'll just tell you right now. All right, Saturday and Sunday. You may not get this before then, but the 10th and the 11th is the White Oak Craft Fair at the Art Center. And every year they do this. This is their 32nd year. So for somebody to have done this for 32 years, they've got to have done something right. And even if you miss the show, the craft show, they have a gift center at the Art Center that has many of those items that you'll see outside in the gift area in the Art Center, and they're open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 10 to 4. And you can come in and check it out if you missed something or you didn't get to come to the art show. Many of you already know about it anyway. So September 17th is going to be the FFA Championship Truck and Tractor Pull. Hey, everybody loves a truck and tractor pull. So that's going to be at the fairgrounds right off of Lehman Street in Woodbury. And I believe that it starts at 6 p.m. And then September 15th, and the reason I'm telling you about this, it's not exactly an event, but there is a big need for blood right now. And the Lions Club will be having their blood drive on that day from 12 noon till 6 p.m. So if you think you would be able to give blood, go by the Lions Club, and there's a need for it right now, all types. So I just wanted to throw that in there because they do this not every month. I think it's like every other month that they do this. And then, of course, one of my favorite events is the Chamber of Commerce Color of Fall Car and Truck Show. And it's going to be September 24th on the square. Registration time is from 8 till 12 noon. You can come in after 12 noon, but you have to be registered if you want to be eligible for one of the awards before 12 noon. And there'll be 72 trophies and 6 cash prizes awarded. And we like to see everything. We like to see rat rods, anything that you've got, just bring them on.
Anything with an engine and 4 wheels, maybe 2.
And I believe last year we may have had a little girl that brought a lawnmower that was pinstriped and painted pink, and I think she may have won the most unique, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now the
We've had some unique cars over the years.
We have. Our brochures are ready, and if you don't have one, they will be put in the paper, I believe, next week in the Courier.
So, yeah.
And also, if you would like me to send you one, just contact the chamber at 615-563-2222, and I'll make sure you get one. But we like to see everyone come to that. There is no charge for spectators. However, for the car show, since it is a fundraiser, there is a $20 entry fee for your car. And the courthouse will be closed on that day because it's hard to have a car show with all of those cars and people coming in and out of the courthouse. So that day, they're kind enough to close for us. September 23rd through October 1st is going to be the play that goes wrong at the Art Center. And of course, it's on Friday and Saturdays, 7:30 show, and Sundays, it's a 2 o'clock matinee. And that is a comedy, and everybody likes to laugh, so you need to come to that one. Also on the car show, we do have a rain date of October 1st on that. That's one of these things that if it rains that day, we put too much into this car show just to say, see you next year. We're going to have it one day or another. October 15th will be the final cruise-in of the season for the chamber. That is the toy drive cruise-in. And we ask our drivers that come every month to it during the summer to please bring a toy that will be given to kids at Christmas time. October 15th is Beans Diesel presents Blackout in the Country. And of course, they're located at 210 Roland Lane in Woodbury. And if you'll call the chamber, I'll give you a number where you can get in touch with them if you'd like more information on that.
It is a big event, and we wanted to let people know about this because it backs up on John Bragg Highway as far as parking and stuff like that. So
You can see it.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, if you like diesels and trucks, and I don't even know what all they have, but that is a big event. October 31st, of course, is Halloween, and they have the Pumpkin Festival, which will be around the square, and that's fun for everyone. They have pumpkin carving, they have costume contests.
I think that actual date's going to be October 29th. It's a Saturday.
When did they change that?
A couple of weeks ago. Well, I think they've had it for a while because remember on the 22nd is going to be another event that people were getting kind of confused with, the Pumpkin Festival.
Well, they haven't contacted me about that.
I'll get on them.
So I don't know anything about that. But I am going to give a plug to a couple of our out-of-town events. A lot of times they give us a plug, so I'm going to. Dave Macon Days, I believe, has not been, I don't think they've had that the last couple of years, but it was always a big event. And this year, it's going to be at the Fountains
No.
in Gateway
It's
in
going to be at
Murfreesboro.
Hop Springs Brewery.
No, I just got a thing today, Keith.
Ooh, we got to check because Hop Springs put out a big thing about them getting awarded the thing. So
I don't have it in here with me,
Okay.
but I got it
we'll go to the
today.
Fountains, and if you don't see it at the Fountains, go to Hot Springs. But if you're coming out of Woodbury that particular day, when you're going by Hot Springs, look at the left, and if it looks like they've got something going on, stop in there because probably it's Uncle Dave Macon Days.
Well,
But
I just
either-
got it today that Gateway at the Fountains
Okay.
off of Medical Center Boulevard is having that. October 15th and 16th is the Bell Buckle Craft Fair, and I think everybody in Cannon County knows about that. So that's where it is. And while you're here and you're going to all these other events we're having, I want to remind you that we have some great antique stores in Cannon County, along with some great boutiques. You'll certainly want to visit them because it's a lot of fun to go in there, and they usually have some type of specials going on at all the antique stores from one time to another. So is there anything else you want to tell me that I'm wrong about, Keith?
Oh, no. You're always right.
That's what
Yeah.
I try to tell you.
Tell
every day.
everybody that it was right, but
But anyway, we hope to see you all at the car show. And we want to thank our guests for being here.
Thank you for allowing us to be on.
Well, hey, I'm real proud of all the businesses in Cannon County. I am. And what you do is a great thing because people with disabilities usually make great employees
Yes, ma'am.
because they do want to work. And I thank everybody for being here, and we hope to see you next month.